live on a Sunday, fun day. Forgive me, I'm going to get the guidebook from Metatron's card, because we're again in Metatron's field. What's up, everybody? I am the High Priestess Phoenix. I am your spiritual healer, teacher, shaman, seer, oracle, light worker, starseed, earth angel, mystic, medium, psychic, witch, yogi, guru, evangelist, North American Sybil, messenger of God, child of God, the Lilith, incarnated on God's day, a Sunday fun day. In order to keep up with me, you would have to see what I posted on my community page, and pretty much all of this week's teachings have been leading into this too. Son of a monkey. It all blends together. On Sundays, we take light codes from the light. On certain days we're in the dark, and I take dark codes and I turn it all into a universal language for you. I posted a video this morning saying that this whole teaching came together at about 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock this morning, and just sat here all day. Why? Because I was resting. How did this all come to be? Well, I'm going to show you. It started with this card, and now you can see why we have this archangel. Usually I pull an archangel anyways. Okay? Now it goes further, because the sound of the universe is actually a symbol back here, and I taught this too. That's this symbol. See that symbol? That symbol represents the sound of the universe. It's a symbol. Right? Metatron teaches you about symbols. Now, yesterday, I was guided to the spiritual store, and I got this. Man and His Symbols. This was by Carl Jung, when he went into his mind and he started catching light codes and stuff like that. You could say it's a dream interpretation, but you know, you have to know these visions that you're being shown, and they come in something simplistic. It's a language. It's called light codes. It's a language, and it comes from all different symbols, right? And that's where Metatron comes in. So we're going to start with just that first card over to the left, and then I'll take you back to Metatron. Let's talk about the sound of the universe. Card number, what is that? 51. And then Metatron is 31. Alright, let's see here. So, life-changing experiences. Okay, so I was sitting with Morgan, and I was telling her, you know, about this opportunity to take a life-changing experience and go up to, you know, to Alaska. When the conversation was completely done, when we were completely done and we just took a breath, we both hit our cigarette. She hit her vape and I hit my cigarette. She said, all right, if I'm going to go, I need to get new tires, and I need to do this and this. Meaning, we had already had the conversation, now let's talk about it serious. Let's get serious. It had got serious in her mind real quick. What do I need to do? And that's what I was telling her. Well, we have to have, you know what I mean, tags and insurance. I was like, we have to have insurance to get tags, and because of the way my insurance be set up, it's cheaper for me to have a second driver and a second car. So I can help you out with that, in the sense of I've got to get my own insurance. I can pay for yours at no cost to me. You know what I mean? How much does it cost to register your car? Same thing like that. And so we started working through the logistics of it. You know what I mean? And that's where it is. The fears and the realities. What can we do? What's in our power to do stuff? And she said something very realistic. She was like, I was thinking about what you said. And it had to do with the video that I made later, but I didn't include it in that video. She says, I was thinking about what you said, how you would go out and ask people to help you out with gas. They're gonna receive you differently than me. They're gonna judge me. I said, Start working through that. You have to accept that right away, that when we step out of our comfort zone, it's not going to be comfortable. I was like, you know what I mean? When people see me, and I showed her my dashboard, I was like, you see this, right? You see this whole thing? I was like, people look at me while I'm driving down the street, and they talk to their friends. My kids are in the back seat watching them judge me. You know what I mean? People are going to judge you. Not everyone's going to receive you. You have to accept that, dude. You know what I mean? And she's got like tattoos on her face. I'm like, yeah, they're not going to be so friendly all the way around. But we're, you know what I mean? We're not going out there to make friends. We're going out there to have experiences and stuff like that. It's like people will show kindness. You know, not everyone is, you know, unkind. something we had talked about, you know, and that's where it is like the real fears start coming up. The real things that you really think about that you don't want to tell no one. That was real. Thank you for speaking that. That's true, dude. I don't know, dude. People aren't going to, you know what I mean? They might help you out, but not me. That's a real fear in all of us, meaning they're going to like you more than they like me.
That's like asking your friend.
And so what did I do at that moment? I reminded her I'm a witch, and they fear me. I was like, we both are kind of screwed on this. We gotta depend on God on that. They see me as a witch. You know what I mean? You can't not see that while I'm driving down the street. Anyway, so we talked about that. Glimpses into the great mystery, significant timing, pivotal moments, the Seer Yantra. I said, stop right there. I was like, that tells me where else I need to go. I was like, there's a card for that. So she was just reading the beginning of the opening when I pulled my first card, and she said Seer Yantra. I was like, hold on. So that took me to this card and this card. Do you see that marking in there? This all goes back to Metatron. And I was like, that's how the story unfolds. But no matter where we pull out of this, it's going to tell us, you know what I mean? It's guidance to what we're currently going through. Okay, now as much as I'd like to say this is a collective energy, if you're not, you know, going through life like we're going through life, then this might not apply to you. And it's crazy to say that a couple of, you know what I mean, homeless women are walking the divine path and you're not. But in the essence, who put us here? And what are we being guided by? Exactly. Exactly. Not our minds and the masses, but our hearts. All right, so then after that, I took all of these cards out. I showed her how it worked, and I closed the books up, and I got ready to go. And that's it. I left all this at the altar, and that was it. All right, what goes next? The turning fork of universal consciousness. Music, transcending mundane reality. And that's what I said, is we're trying to create a new reality. I've made a whole video about, you know, the ascension and how we go into the cosmic conscious and take these visions and make it our reality down here. Okay, that would be considered a tuning fork. There's actually a tool. I've seen one for sale at a spiritual store. It was like over $400. And you can use a tuning fork to change energy. I don't do all of that. I work with the energy. Again, I don't manipulate energy, really. I just work with it. Music, of course, I'm always trying to explain to you how music is a frequency and the universal conscious. We talked about all of that in my intro to Jewish mysticism video last night. All right, this card signifies those pivotal moments that transcend belief, remind us of a greater reality, and influence us so that life will never be the same again. When I started channeling paintings, I explored sacred geometry. Okay. Let's see. By including it as a key element in my creations, without knowing much about its meaning. When I looked up looked up the wisdom of the Seer Yantra, I was blown away. What is that? It's this symbol. Seer Yantra. I'll leave that there for you to see. Okay. It symbolizes the sound of the universe. This painting was crucial for me, as it was my make or break decider for whether I could fulfill my dream as a painter. It was also significant as I crashed my car trying to steady the painting and momentarily taking my eyes off the road. The events that followed delivered the most spiritual growth I had experienced in this lifetime. Up until that point, interestingly, the peace had also vanished. The Seer Yantra is a powerful symbol described as the turning fork that connects us to the universal consciousness. And that's what I said. They consider that consciousness, it's your soul. Sorry, I don't know why it does that. I really couldn't tell you. The fragment in time when life as we know it falls away and reveals a place outside of the mundane, where you visualize the world outside the 3D. It brings a sense of awe and overwhelms, and yet it feels so real that it jolts us back to our core for deeper remembering. It allows us to fathom our limitlessness. And I just want to point, I stopped right there because it's on page 131. Do you see all this? This card also is about music as a sacred tool. It speaks of the importance of having a soundtrack for our journey. What was I listening to before I came in here? I went back to my music. I was listening to my soundtrack that I'm making for my documentary. And then just as soon as I said that, I got frustrated because that's what Russ tries to say, is that this Wild album is a soundtrack to his life. But yeah, he's not talking about anything. And if he is, it's so low vibrational. I'd shared right before here, I'd shared the orchestra version of the Pocahontas, Paint with All the Colors of the Wind. And I did that because you can literally listen to, you can feel the nature in the frequencies of every note that's played by every instrument. I pointed that out as my daughter went into orchestra. I played a bunch of videos, and then Russ took the orchestra on tour with him as if it was going to elevate his low vibration fucking music. Music captures the story. Music is always told an unbelievable story all upon itself, just the notes of it, the composure of putting the melodies together. And that's what life is. It's a bunch of little notes, a bunch of little experiences that create a story called your life. And it's got all kinds of, and you know, that's where classical music comes from like, you know what I mean, Bach and from Mozart and stuff. It's like they didn't have words. There's no words to describe it, but there's a melody. When people think about heaven, they hear music. You know what I mean? When you think about something scary, you hear music. There's always a tone. It sets a tone in your head. Right? Music is very powerful, and that's why I'm music affiliated from the choirs. We need to write. You know what I mean? We need to write the next frequency. Let's see. Music was an essential aspect of a ceremony in Lemuria as it bridged the gap between matter and non-matter. And that goes back to the Egyptians. We knew how to use music for elevation and everything else. Even in this dimension, music opens the portals to an array of feelings and atmospheres. Bring more music into your life to expand your experience and shift your sense of ordinary reality. And that's it. If you only stay in your reality, which is, you know, I'm seeing someone like Ali. He only listens to heartbreak music. He stays within that. How can you be anything more than what you consume? He's just consuming it and putting it back out. Don't get me wrong, I love rap music, but every bit of music is art because it tells a story of a different place and a different time. A voice for a different reality of people that live in that reality. And who are they? Those are those fans. They're real people that really resonate with the voice and the sound of this person's story, because this person's story is their story. Divinatory meaning. Having your words shaken up, even a little, can derive a deeper glimpse of the greater mystery of life. There are myriad ways to peek beyond the veil of the mundane world. I explained the whole veil and how that works yesterday. Ecstatic dance, spiritual exploration, and intuitive creative pursuits are just a few. And that's it. You know what I mean? I'm always telling you to dance, always putting out music, but as far as that, it's like I'm taking a spiritual, what they call this right here? Intuitive creative pursuit with spiritual exploration. Aim to naturally imbue this awareness in your everyday existence so you can avoid the sudden wake-up calls. Wake up to the hidden music, harmony, and wonder of your own dimensional world. And I said that in my last video. It's like I dance to the, you know, I beat to my own drum. And here's the vision again from Kali. I'm going to take this card away. I'm going to keep those cards present, but then I'm going to talk about Metatron, who brought all of this awareness to us. And while we were doing that, if you haven't noticed, we've been reading our quantum tarot. It's all geometry and science and shit. Okay, let me get into Metatron. What did we say he was? 31? Oh God, I went to Gabriel. Oh God, get out of my face, Gabriel. Oh God. Oh God, oh God, oh God. All right, so he is the beginning of the 14th suit, the Archangels of the Golden Ray, the stellar gateway, and this is where I told you it's about a foot above your crown. Healing qualities are direct access to source, understanding our infinite nature, limitlessness, divine insight, enlightenment and the Christ light. You see that strand of DNA right there? All right, crystals associated are gold, gold techite, pyrite, citrine, gold topaz, healer's gold. I have told you guys for fucking ever that you need a citrine. Yes, there are some new people, so hold on, let me get my stone here. Or my amulets, as they call them. You hear all that? For those that never met me, I wear all of this. All this crazy shit. See that stone right there? That's a citrine. You need that more than any stone. What's the other one? That's a rose quartz. What's that? A clear quartz. Those are just the ones I wear around my neck. I have all kinds of them I used to wear in my bras. I have all kinds of them that I wear around my... all kinds of it. Why? Imagine you're a computer switchboard and you need apps to, you know what I mean, to manage through them, right? You're just an open switchboard. These are like virus protection and, you know what I mean, shutdowns and all kinds of shit like that. Start with a black obsidian to keep yourself grounded, and a citrine, and a selenite, and a rose quartz. Top five. Got it? Okay. You saw earlier, okay, so you need a gold topaz or healer's gold. Essential oil was frankincense. I also pointed that out. I did a huge sage burn. I woke up and I went outside and there was this huge crazy weather. Colorado had 3 tornadoes from it. Awesome. I'm like, awesome. So I had lit the frankincense, the myrrh, the sinks, or whatever they call that shit, a whole bunch of shit. All right, where's the constellation? Orion's belt, the Golden Council, the 3 kings. Who are the 3 kings? Who was up there? Is it those 3 kings or these 3 kings? Or is it, you know what I mean? It's all of us. It's a kingdom. This is my kingdom come. Okay, great. It comes with a song too. All right, let's move on to it. Metatron, ancient wisdom. One of the only 2 angels who is said to walk the earth as a human being, being the other, Sandalphone. Metatron's earthly name was Enoch. Do you know the stories of Enoch? I don't either. I don't know what stories you told. I know the stories that are. Alright, anyways, he is known as God's voice. Well, so is Gabriel, and that's why his bitch ass popped up. I don't like it. And what am I? God's voice. We're all God's voice. We're all messengers of God. Seriously. He's got a lot to say. And that's what I said in our last video last night. All of us were messengers of God, a representation of God, delivering messages to the people from God. God's in our own, only because you thought so. But in essence, we're just servants of God. Alright, here we go. As the divine mediator with humanity, he sits at the very top of the tree of life and Calabastic tradition. We didn't mention him last night, but we read all about the introduction to Jewish mysticism and where the Calabastic tree of life comes from. We've been reading about it for 2 days, maybe 3. He helps us to connect with the ancient wisdom so we can tap into our true genius. If you ask him, he will activate your DNA. This was what, if I had time, I was going to talk about the alchemical mutation when your DNA shifts. What number is that? 31. Damn it, this is going to be a very long reading, guys. Buckle up. Alright. Fucking shit. Alright, anyways, if you ask him, he will activate your DNA, your crown, and your upper chakras. When you are ready, he will illuminate your soul's mission, and that's where Gabriel came in. What is Gabriel? Your fucking holy purpose? So you may step on the ascension path and become the best version of yourself. Beware, I told you what that looks like. As much as you think you're going up, you're going down to the pits of your own hell. And once you get down there, you'll be in heaven. But you must go into hell to get to heaven. There's no other way. I've shown you all the way. Early in my journey, while attending a healing workshop, and this even describes it, the first angel you meet on your ascension, well, through this whole page, is the dark night of the soul, where he takes you through hell. It's Sariel, through hell. The dark night of the soul. You meet him, and then you meet me. God's knowledge or understanding. The angel is the epitome of divine feminine. She is aligned with the cosmic mother. Tazvakel seeks, like the image, is she's the Egyptian goddess Isis. Who else is up there? Quit playing around, bro. Quit playing around. Jesus came before. No, he's your savior. There's no such thing as seniority because there's no such thing as time, only here. But in the essence, if we were playing time and space, and that's where people hold on to these old teachings, my God came first. Shut up, bro. Shut up. God is God is God. That's all in that video last night too. Playing around. Anyways, going back to it. You may step on the ascension path in my early journey. The golden light courses through my body like a sudden electric shock. I could feel sparks of energy all over, within and around me. From the brilliant light emerged a massive golden angel. His feet were on earth, but his head was amongst the stars. They say the same thing about almost all of them, especially Sandalphone, and he's over there playing music. Bow, chicka, wow, wow. Do you know who Sandalphone is? Hold on. Let me find him. So, Queed, who's he? Sandalphone, where you at? He's in the beginning. I actually don't know. Let me find out where he is on this list. Sandalphone, Metatron, Sandalphone. Where you at? Bow, chicka, wow, wow. He's in the beginning. Prayer, number 36. Let me tell you about this guy. This guy. Oh, he's not in the beginning. Wait a minute. Page 36, not 36. Okay. 33, 38, 36. All right. He is Prayer, who is known links to earth and heaven. He is the tallest angel, so gigantic, in fact, it takes 500 years to travel from his feet to the head. Like his twin, Metatron, Sandalphone is one of the two angels who previously walked the earth as a human. He was the prophet Elijah. Did you hear that? So we have Elijah and Enoch. They were brothers. All right? He was charged for looking after our planet and taking our prayers to God, weaving them in. He also was symbolized the wheel of fire. Sandalphone is known as the wheel of the divine chariot. Like his image, he's planted firmly, blah, blah, blah. He's all about music. He's all about music, bro. Music makes the people. So I'm just telling you how all this comes together. It's music. Anyways, let's see. What did he say? The remarkable thing about this experience was, a golden angel. His feet were on the earth, but his head was amongst the stars. The remarkable thing about this experience was that that it was entirely holographic in nature. I could see the angel from all the angles, and it was also as though he had stepped into me, and it was an experience, and I was experiencing the entire universe from his perspective. We talked about that in astral traveling the day before. He was strangely angular, and though his body was made up of sacred geometric shapes, my own body was shaking from the raw power and surge through my nervous system. I'd never met such an immersing being. I decided to ask his name. I am Metatron, came a booming voice that seemed to echo out of the heavens. Metatron showed me a large, multifaceted golden symbol, his geometric cube, which brought me down to the energy field to elevate a person's vibration, cleanse, balance, and align their chakras, and provide deep healing and transformation. When I came around to my experience and opened my eyes, another healer who was assisting at a workshop crossed the room of 50 people to deliver me a message. My darling, she said, I saw the whole thing. The angels want me to tell you they've been waiting for you to work with them. They want you to write and teach about them. We looked down, and on the floor between our feet was a large white feather. I had not known it at the time, but I later learned about Metatron, and his image in the card reveals he is the angel of sacred geometry who governs the very building blocks of creation. Bum, bum, bum. She also asked me about my feathers. I was like, oh, bro, I can't even get into all of that right now. He's like, I have them everywhere. Everywhere? Everywhere. So then there's this visualization, and this is what it is. Becoming the angel. You share the wisdom of Metatron when you realize we are all connected through the oneness of the Creator. All things, all beings have consciousness, even the rocks and the trees. And that's what I shared. I was like, nothing of this world really has any power except for the world itself. So live your life from a perspective that exists in a part of you and is sacred. When you understand the principle of the microcosmo to the macrocosmo, you will also come to understand that you're not just a bystander in your experience here on earth. You are a powerful, angelic creator God. And I explain that. We take our information back to God, He gives us new visions, and we create with God through those visions. It's a co-creation. Otherwise, you're just creating what other people are creating, looking to other people as to what you're going to do with your life. Capable of mastering many great feats. That is why you have come to this planet at this time. You are one of the souls who have chosen to be here to assist humanity's awakening, and rebirth from fear to love. Walk softly upon